pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Height,
Here.
Lindman, Moretto,
Here.
Nedrow,
Here.
Schneider,
Here.
Thorne,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Fredericks.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I would love to hear the motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by-
second.
Motion by Nedrow, second by Moretto. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Also would love to hear approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all right, I think Fran.
Let's go home.
Fran beat you there. Motion by Nedrow, second by Thorne. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's our approved. Brings us to item 6, public hearing, proposed rezoning from O1 to C1 at 1211 Glengarry. And we do have a member of the public here.
Oh, actually, yep.
Now, so I'd like to hear a motion to open to the public.
I move that we open the discussion to the public hearing.
Okay, motion by Moretto.
Second.
Seconded by Schneider. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, welcome. If you,
Know the procedure, what do you need?
well, basically, if you have something to say, you just want to, you can stay seated or stand and state your name and your
I think they want
address.
them at the mic,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
state-
they have a handheld.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah, you state your name and address and what your concerns are.
My name is Richard Hess. I live right behind the Glengarry Inn. I've lived there for 25 years. I'm just very curious why, out of the clear blue, they want to change zoning at the Glengarry Inn. Does anybody know why?
Absolutely.
We do.
It was rezoned back, I think, around 2000 or somewhere in the 90s or 80s even. But it was, the zoning was changed to an office district, and which made it actually non-conforming for the Glengarry Inn to be there under that operation. So we're rezoning it back to C1 to get it in compliance.
That and they asked, right?
Yeah.
They asked us.
Yeah.
Why did they ask?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I thought they couldn't do anything
Yeah, they
if it's
couldn't do like-
O1. They couldn't get a permit
Can't
to
make
do anything.
improvements to the building.
That's exactly what I'm
things like
afraid of. I don't want to see any changes. It's kind of turning into a nightmare. I live right behind it. Traffic has been a nightmare, people parking all up and down the street. They park in the ditch at the stop sign. Has anybody driven by there lately? I see they tore it down finally. They had those nasty canopies all half broken, falling apart, sitting in front of the place.
From the storm, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been that way for like a month. So I'm very leery of why they want to change the zoning. I'm afraid they're going to try to expand, which would be horrible for traffic in our neighborhood. Does the new zoning allow them to expand and make changes?
They
Not
would,
without
they would
talking
have to
us first.
propose a site design that would go through the approval process.
So the answer is yes.
The answer is no without our, no unless they get our approval.
How about now, the way it's zoned?
Same, well,
They can't do anything now.
they
right
can't
now.
do,
They
they,
can't do
compliance right
zoning
now.
up.
Well, not doing anything is a good thing in my book, and most of my neighbors too. We've talked about it extensively. We're kind of tired of it. Does anybody know why they're allowed to park in the ditch?
they're not.
They're probably not. I think that's something that we'd want to probably take up with.
Well, they filled in the ditch, and now they're parking staff members in the ditch right by the stop sign. So I'm not thrilled about if they're requesting a change. I'm very leery as to why.
Well, what do you think they're gonna do that?
I'm
you
very
think they're
worried-
leery of?
I'm very worried they're going to expand in some way.
I think
And-
a lot of it is just site improvement, maybe paving the parking lot,
Yeah, they
No, I
can't
don't
even
think
do
they
that.
wanna- I don't think they want to expand their footprint.
Well, this
They
isn't
just want to
really
make
a
it
question
nicer.
and answer period. This is really public hearing. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's okay. I'd rather have a free-for-all and see what you guys think, too. Are you guys inclined to approve this or to not approve it, I guess is what I'm asking. And if you're inclined to improve it, what's the rationale?
Well, it's not really up to
Sally?
us. It's up to the council. We can make a recommendation.
Okay, so you would recommend to the council?
We can make a recommendation. I don't know what, we haven't really decided yet, but, I mean, they're a commercial property now.
Yes.
In non-conforming, so, I mean, if we don't make it something else, they can't even, you know, they can't.
And it hasn't
fix
been a
anything.
problem for all these years, why is it suddenly a problem?
Well, when you say all these years, I mean, how long has,
I've lived there for 25
Yeah,
years
no,
without
I
any
mean,
changes.
how long has,
Glengary's been there since the 40s.
no, I'm talking about when it got bought by, the new owners, by JR. Right. Yeah, that's only been a few years.
It was prior to 2014, because they owned it when we moved down to Lake. I don't know how far prior.
My personal opinion is I think it's worse in that they can't make property improvements than any threat of expansion, because if they can't redo the parking lot, or you're saying you complained about the property being this way or that way, well, they can't do anything about that if they're not zoned properly. So it seems like the first step to cleaning the place up and making it better would be to make sure that the zoning is consistent.
I don't think they want to expand the building.
No.
Do we know that for sure?
And we would be
No.
against that, because there's no room for
Yeah,
it.
Well,
They have to have a certain
parking.
number of parking spots
They'd
and all
they'd
this.
in essence have to buy a lot.
They exceed that every weekend,
Right.
the number of parking lots.
The
Or parking
main idea is
spots.
they want to improve the property, is what the idea is, you know. But there's no sense speculating on what they may or may not do.
I'm very surprised the owner is not here to tell us what his thoughts on the matter are.
There's no sense speculating on it, but we do welcome your concerns and your thoughts. Definitely note those down.
Sally wants to say something.
So I would,
Go ahead,
if,
Sally.
Thank you.
Who's Sally?
I just wanted to
She's our
mention
planning
that,
consultant.
Okay.
if there is illegal parking in the ditch and in areas where there is not supposed to be parking, I do believe that the village police would come out and enforce it if they knew about it. So.
they certainly know about it, they drive by all the time. They're just not doing anything about it. And I haven't made an issue of it. I don't really want to make an issue of it, but it's a problem. We try to pull up the stop sign, half the time we can't see to turn. And on a weekend night, try to call the village police, you get some other crazy dispatch, so that doesn't do you much good.
Well, I do suggest that you bring these concerns to the village council as well. They may have some other solutions for enforcement of the proper parking.
Well, I would like to suggest for you guys even to consider this, that you ask the owner of the Glengarry Inn to come and give his rationale for why he wants the zoning change. And I would very much like to hear that and talk with him about it. He may have very good reasons for it, I don't know.
Has he requested, or is this something that we've
was here
discovered?
last
He was here,
week.
they
He
were here last
requested,
meeting.
he was here
Oh,
last month.
one meeting I wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same here.
Okay, so when he was here last month, what did he say?
Exactly what we already talked about.
So he has absolutely no
not-
plans
He
to
wants
expand.
He wants to be able to make improvements to the property, and his hands are tied right now because it's not zoned properly.
Just be very leery of what those improvements might be, please.
We will.
Because I have to
Yeah.
live right next door.
Yeah.
And before anything's done, they have to come for site review, right?
Yeah,
So you could come to that meeting as well.
yeah.
Okay. Are they going to give another notice, like they sent a notice out for,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, there would be.
Be the
so
same
any
thing.
changes? All
Yeah,
right.
any improvements that they would do.
And I have nothing against the Glengarry Inn. I go there myself, and I've never had a problem, to be honest with you. But there are some things that have been a problem, and the amount of people parking all over the place is one of the big problems I have. And if they're planning some sort of expansion or anything along those lines, I'd be very much against it. And if they start wanting to have like outdoor soirees, I would be very much against that. During COVID, they did a few things outside. I didn't say anything because, you know, COVID, what else could they do? But things are getting back to normal, and I really don't want that disruption in our neighborhood. So,
Thank you for taking the time to come out
Yeah.
and voicing
Okay.
your opinion. We appreciate it when people come up and let us know what they're feeling.
okay, do I have to stay for the vote?
No, you're all good.
If you want to.
But
You
yeah,
can.
I'd like to hear a motion to close to the public.
Motion.
Motion by Thorne, second.
Support.
Second by Moretto. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So when will I find out what the vote was?
Well, you could sit here right now, but it's not up to us. We have to wait and go to the council.
So are you guys even going to vote on the matter, or are you just going to make a recommendation to council?
We vote whether to recommend it or whether to not recommend it. And I
Okay.
think, are we doing that tonight?
It's not on our agenda.
Okay.
We can.
So if there's anything else that comes up about this, I'll be notified? Not necessarily?
If there's there won't be another public hearing, but.
So this
if
is the
they
only
were gonna-
public
If they
hearing?
were gonna do like a site plan or something like that, you would have a chance to voice your opinion for sure, yeah.
So I could leave here, you guys could recommend to council that they could change the zoning, and that could all happen.
Yeah, our village attorney would like to comment. Go ahead, Sally.
Thank you for calling me an attorney. But I'm not an attorney, I'm a planner, just to clarify.
Just gonna promote
You're
it.
smart enough to be one.
Tabitha may be able to reply. Council, let's just say you guys decide to make a recommendation to city council to approve it, or let's say you decide to deny it. Either way, it does have to go to city council. And Tabitha, what would be the next available meeting that this application might be able to be on the council agenda?
It'll go to council at their November meeting.
Be the
which would be
13th,
the
the 11th,
10th, I believe.
10th.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be on their agenda November 10th, whatever recommendation is made tonight.
All right, so,
And the meeting information, the agenda and the dates are on the village's website, but you can always call Tabitha or Paige. They're both extremely helpful at the front counter and get the information about the meeting, just to confirm that it's going to be on that November village council agenda.
I just think it's very telling that the owner of the Glengarry Inn's not here tonight. Why?
He was here last.
Yeah, he
he
was
was
here
last
here
meeting.
This is the public hearing to discuss it, and he's not here?
He's not the public.
Thinking maybe he doesn't want to be questioned.
Well, he wouldn't have to answer questions.
No, but it would be in his best interest. I mean, he might have perfectly valid reasons that I'm willing to listen to, but I just think it's kind of odd that he's not here, and he's a very well-known member of the community. You would think that he would want to be here for this. So the fact that he's not makes me wonder. So,
Okay, again, thank you
Okay,
very much for coming
thank
out and
you.
taking the time.
appreciate it.
Okay, so. Are we gonna recommend the council on that, Brian?
Nope, I got that.
Do we need to add it to the agenda? Do we want to do it?
I thought it would have been. It's under-
Seems like
So is there
it
any
should.
reason we can't?
I would think that.
Sally,
Vote for
if it's, can we recommend to council even though that's not on our agenda? Would we add it to the agenda and then recommend?
Isn't it part of the public hearing?
I would add it to the agenda and then,
Should have been an agenda
then
item,
you'd have an
yeah.
action item on the agenda. And then make your, have your discussion and make your decision.
Okay, so I would hear a
Well-
motion to amend the,
Well,
We can
we'd
do
have to
that.
reopen the agenda.
We can do that.
Okay.
We've done
a
it
motion
before.
to amend the agenda to include the proposed rezoning from O1 to C1 at 1211 Glengarry.
I motion.
Okay, motion by Thorne, second by Moretto. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that is now on our agenda, and I guess we can call it
The-
Agenda 6B.
11B. The old
Oh,
business.
yeah, thank you. Agenda item 11B. Okay, thank you. So that brings us to correspondence, which we have none. Public is gone, so we do not need to do a call to the public. We have no new business on item 9 or pending business on item 10, which brings us to the old table business item master plan update, which I would hear a motion to take off the table.
I move we take the master plan update off the table.
Okay, motion by Snyder, second by Moretto, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, if you guys got a chance to look at the master plan, Sally knocked it out of the park with all those cool graphs and
No
soil
kidding.
sample things, and I was just really impressed. It's awesome. And,
It's the photos.
yeah, well, hey, those look nice too, but
They are good ones.
I'm a little biased, but if you'd like Sally to take the floor and explain a little bit about what you did, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I'm all green lights on it.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Well, I happen to have it available here. And can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. Just to go over it quickly, I'll essentially identify now it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my screen froze up here.
It's okay, take your time.
I think it froze up here.
Yeah.
It might be on our end.
I don't-
You know,
I see your stuff moving at the bottom.
Everything's frozen.
Well, now you.
It is cold out.
Oh, that's this guy doing it.
It's getting chilly, so it's to be expected.
like a dad joke.
I know, I'm good at those. A whole book of them.
Slam haven't done any dinner.
Try it again, Sally.
Okay. There we go.
Yay.
Hey, look at this beautiful picture.
I love it.
Very
Isn't that
pretty.
stunning? With the moon? Anyway, I had fun putting the pictures in. Huh?
Well, thanks, I had fun taking them. We got a great place, good subject matter.
So, the document has been updated. I'll just scroll through the various sections. We updated the history and character area with your comments that you provided earlier in the year. We also updated the demographics. We have I modified these again with the 2020 U.S. Census information. That information has become available now.
Hey, Sally,
So,
on one of those sections, I was trying to pull it up on my phone to find out which, I noticed there was a section where it referred to Commerce Township. Actually, the population increased from 35,000 to 38,000. And it showed that, the percentage, it showed a negative number.
you are so right. Thank you. I'll make that correction.
That was one of the things that popped out of me, so.
Wow.
But everything
Right?
else,
It proves you really paid attention.
I guess
Great.
I actually read it, huh?
I did too, but I didn't catch that. My God.
Well, thank you. I will correct that.
That was the only one I saw.
So anyway, all these tables, where the information is available, the 2020 census was a short form. And so, for example, changes in household, this detail about the age of people living in various types of households was not updated in 2020, but it was part of the American Community Survey, which is a 5-year survey that's done by the U.S. Census. And it's the most available data we have, so that's why it's there. And every time I used it, I did identify that that's where the information came from. So, but all of these tables have been updated. We also updated the existing land use acreage, as well as the existing land use map, which is shown here. And these are just various descriptions of the different existing land uses that occur in the village. The natural resources section hasn't changed that much except for the water quality descriptions because we had more recent studies of water quality. And I did include those studies in the appendix of the document, but here's a kind of a summary of that work right here. And then the future land use section is kind of the main area where the changes were made. We included the most recent goals and talked about the future land use categories and added this mixed use future land use category, which you all discussed last month. And then included an updated future land use map that shows the mixed-use land use category and that mixed-use land use category being right along Glengarry Road there. And then the rest of this information on complete streets, that was part of our previous master plan. This is the most recent United Neighborhoods Trails map. And then the appendices, we added a much more robust zoning plan, and it's based on the requirements in the Planning Enabling Act. And the zoning plan essentially describes how the future land use categories in the master plan relate to the zoning categories in the zoning ordinance, so that there's a direct correlation between these two categories. And it describes the various zoning districts. And then talks about the proposed change to the zoning ordinance, which is going to be based on your addition of the mixed-use future land use category. And then we have a zoning map. This is just a proposed zoning map, and it shows where the proposed rezoning to mixed use would be located. And then the last thing we added was some criteria to consider for a rezoning request. This is also part of a zoning plan. And then we have the water quality report information at the end of the document. So any other changes or comments or questions?
Nice work.
Yeah, nice work.
Fantastic.
This is splitting hairs, Sally, but I noticed
That's okay.
I noticed on page 24, you've got a gorgeous picture of the old launch.
Yeah, we got a new launch.
And I don't know that the weather's going to be nice enough to get a lake view picture of the new launch. Maybe we already have one.
Is it done?
This boat's still
It's
alive.
done. Wow.
Brian, you can still use your ski boat, right?
Yeah,
Get
it's
out
boat's
there.
still
No,
alive.
pontoon's still in.
Yeah, I'm getting mine out tomorrow.
There you
But
go.
I can get you an updated photo of that, Sally. Well,
That would
looks
be
like
terrific, thank you.
That's the old one.
I actually
Phil.
had somebody take a picture for me, so if you
It's-
can't get
the
one,
dock-
contact me and I'll
Okay.
send
The
you a
dock
picture.
is,
like
the
it
dock
might
is the same. It actually looks worse.
It's
than
from the lake.
I know it does look worse.
Well, you might want to send her that if you already got one, Scott, because
Yeah.
I'm talking about putting a canoe in and canoeing over there. But it doesn't have to be artistic or anything. If it shows it,
Let me see what
This
I
is
got.
going to be a document that's got some longevity to it.
Yeah, it
Really,
might
the
be
only
nice
difference
to-
is it's wider and it's
Yeah, it's
you know,
repositioned.
the parking area or the turnaround area has changed a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
substantially.
I never got down there yet to look at it.
But other than that, great job.
do you want Scott to send that to the village, Sally, or send it directly to you?
The village is great, and then Tabitha can forward it on, and then she'll have a copy.
Awesome. Okay.
Let me make sure I have one first.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Sally. It looks fantastic.
Well, can I talk about the next step?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
awesome.
two pictures or one.
It looks like it's two pictures, but those are both excellent. They show both driveways. I'm sorry, Sally, go ahead.
Can I talk about the next step in the master planning process?
Yes.
So the next step would be for you to make a recommendation to village council to distribute the master plan to neighboring communities. And they're the ones that have to make this decision. And it not only goes to neighboring communities, but it also goes to Oakland County, the Regional Planning Agency, SEMCOG, as well as any railroads and utility companies within the village. And then those neighboring communities and others will have 63 days to comment on your master plan. So that's the next step.
Okay, thank you.
So I motion that we recommend, to have village council distribute the draft of the master plan.
Support. Second.
Okay,
Everybody likes that.
motion by Pedro, second by Snyder. Was it Snyder or?
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
Clark.
All of us.
Okay, I'll stick with Snyder then. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, awesome. That brings us to item B, the
11B.
proposed rezoning from O1 to C1. We need a motion to recommend to council, what I am for bringing it into,
Compliance.
compliance personally. I
Yes.
hope everybody else feels the same. If so, we're ready for a motion to recommend.
I motion to recommend.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Thorne, second by Clark. Discussion?
Actually, that's going to be a recommendation to rezone from O1 to C1.
C1 at 1211 Glengarry.
Yeah.
To approve the rezoning?
Yes,
O1 to
thank
C1?
you for clarifying. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, that might want to be a roll call on that.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's fine. Roll call vote.
Moretto?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Snyder?
Yes.
Thorne?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Fredericks?
Yes.
Height?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. That brings us to liaison reports. Item A, council.
That was quick.
Well,
I just replied to that Tabitha's email that I think a lot of you might get it.
okay, that's fine.
Everybody was reappointed to the planning commission. That was up, so. And we have Kathy as liaison to the zoning board of appeals and Paul as liaison to the water management board. Still looking for parks and rec liaison. We had a couple service acknowledgements from John Scott and Ed Sienkiewicz. We had the second public hearing for the sanitary sewer special assessment district, which is moving forward now. We approved that.
Cool.
Bond's going to be moving forward probably around December, end of December.
They're working on them now.
Yep.
So we just have to get the sale completed.
We hired a new full-time public works maintenance laborer named John Brenningham. I think that's his name. And he started a couple Mondays ago.
Last week, yes.
Yeah, yep. We recommended that we stock the lake with 400 walleye or 400 largemouth bass. So I think that was approved, the permit was approved by the DNR, and we're waiting for the Inlay Fish company to get the fish here. Andy Stone was allowed to purchase a new V-Box salt spreader for the smaller truck. And let's see what else we had. That was about it. Oh, we approved actually, we adopted the ordinance that we had proposed up to council regarding the correction on the rear yard setback.
Oh, good.
That was finalized. Essentially, that was about it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Brian. Parks and Rec, we don't have a liaison, right? Okay. How about ZBA?
I wasn't at the meeting, but I watched it on YouTube, so
Oh,
I know what
okay.
happened. There were two cases that came for. One was a request to replace an existing cyclone fence with a 4-foot fence on one side and then a 6-foot privacy fence on the bordering property. And the reason why it was in for ZBA was the back of the lot. There's a road that goes across the back, so they actually had 2 front yards. The zoning board considered the request and approved it. So they got that approved. And then the other one was the property that's on the northeast or northwest corner of the lake off of Del Monte. That they bulldozed and now they're going to build there. And so they had requested it was originally 14-foot, and then they changed it to 25 or something foot setback. But their property has a promenade in the front, and so, that caused a little bit of concern about pushing the house too close to the road to keep that distance from the promenade. Anyways, that variance was approved for that one. And was there a third one? I think that was it. That was it.
Okay, thank you, Kid. How about water management?
We had elected Ryan Martini as chairperson and vice chair as Catherine Duff. 2 members had their term expiring at 2021. Doug Nye has declined accepting another term. Mitchell Tarango accepted a term. We keep looking at signage at the boat launch to try and figure out if there's a way we can get a message better across to people, so maybe you'll get fewer violations. And we've decided to hire a bouncer with a board that smacks them if they don't read the thing. No, we really try and figure out a different way to, we're having a rough time skinning that cat.
What's the issue?
Well, we just feel that maybe either the sign placement or the type of sign or something isn't attracting enough attention.
I don't think that's going to help.
I don't need.
I know when I first came here, I had no idea about the 7:30, 11 to 7:30 thing and the 55 mile an hour thing. I didn't read it.
A lot of
There's
people
all kinds of
don't.
violations
Yeah.
out there.
So,
The launch itself?
No, all
the
just
lake.
to the lake.
Yeah.
There's people are coming in and they
Yeah.
don't look anything.
Yeah.
Half of them don't even have boater safety courses.
People that live on the lake. don't.
right. I know. So, of the violation issues, I don't think reading a sign is going to fix it one way or another.
Nope.
Still working on, wanted to establish a QR code that we could put on a couple of different spots where people fish that they're not supposed to, like on the bridge. Instead of saying no fishing, we could put a QR code next to that would show on their phone places along the lake where you can go fish. That's a member of the public. So we're working on that. We're putting together a PSA on leaf removal, particularly on the shorelines. Research indicates that, and this might hook a lot of people, is that what leaves do once they deteriorate in the lake is they feed algae. That's what those nutrients do. So if we can get people to be a little more vigilant about getting the stuff up off their lawn.
Well, I know that when they lower the water, I can't get out there to get the leaves that are sitting there
Yeah.
without going about a foot into the muck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
down.
yeah. So we realize is, sometimes the leaves just fall directly in, and there's not much you can do about that. But a lot of people kind of collect on the shoreline and don't gather them up quickly enough.
Blow them right into the water.
Yeah.
So people, I've seen people with leaf blowers blow them into the water.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just not
good.
Not good for the health of the lake. And the last thing that we're looking at, Brian Martini did quite a lot of work on it, and it looks promising. He's put together a digital map of the lake, and he's trying to get it to where it layers. So what you can do is have a picture of the lake. We're hoping to get it on the website for Wolverine Lake. You can put a picture of the lake up, and then click one of the codes on the side, and it'll show you where all the public access is. You click another one, it'll show you where all the drainage is. You click another one, it'll show you where the fishing holes are. I mean, just on and on.
Cool.
To where you can get a lot of information, and so we're still working on that, but, and that's about it. We're not worried about bird count right now and stuff like that. Yes.
Did talk about the aerators.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. There was a suggestion that we find out if anybody would be willing to purchase the aerators.
Or take them out for free.
Or take them out for free, yeah. Since it would
Charge
cost
us to
us
take 'em.
thousands of dollars. The month before, we talked about just leaving them there. They aren't in the way of anything, but if they'd be useful to somebody else, then we're going to try to get that information out.
What, it seems like the delaying the drawdown of the lake has been nice. It's extended our boating season
Yeah.
by like a
A
month.
month.
Yeah.
And, even though it's a little cooler now, it's still nice to get out on the lake. And is there any possibility, do you think, that they might keep the delayed drawdown for next year? Or change it to this
I'm
time?
sure it's something we'll end up discussing. It seems to be something that people enjoyed, is having more water, and I know part of the thing we're trying to be more conscientious about is the water level to begin with. We had to run the pumps quite a bit this spring to get the water up to where it needed to be.
This is probably the driest spring on record.
Yeah.
In a long time.
Very dry spring.
Yeah.
So retaining more water, particularly from snow and ice melt, that sort of thing, is on the radar. But yeah, I don't see a reason not to. I guess the danger is we could end up with a real hard freeze, and then the drawdown gets more.
Well, the other issue is, I know a lot of people try to do work down on the seawalls or down
Yeah.
at the base of,
Right.
base of the ground there.
Yeah.
At the lake. And if you delay it too long, then you're not gonna be able to get that done too, so.
Right. So.
Okay, well, thank you, Paul.
Two schools of thought.
Yep. Do we have any announcements? If not, I would love to hear a motion to adjourn.
This is gonna be the last meeting until maybe next year, right?
Did we cancel those meetings already? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, all right. Motion by Moreno, second?
Second.
Second by Thorne. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you for.